Hey everyone, and today I'm doing how I contour and highlight video, and this time it's going to be with this Catrice Prime and Fine Professional Contouring Palette. And if you guys don't know, this is a series where I test out a new product for the first time on my face. I'm going to show you how I contour and highlight, what techniques and brushes I use, and then also test out and give you a first impressions of a new product, show you how it looks on my face, how it blends, etc. So in this one I'm going to test this Catrice Prime and Fine Professional Contouring Palette. I've never tried this palette before, of course, this is sealed. However, I've had good reviews about it, so I really wanted to test it out myself. And also this is fairly inexpensive, so I thought it would be good to show you guys this, because you can get it from the drugstore. I mean, in the UK I can't really give you an accurate price of this, because I don't think Catrice has an official website or a store where they sell their makeup. However, you can definitely purchase this from many different websites for a few pounds. And then in the US, I think you can get Catrice from Ulta, and then in other places around Europe you can buy this from the drugstore. I picked mine up in the shade number 30, Sunny Sympathy. They only had 2 shades available, and the other one, I swatched it and it was really grey undertoned. I think it was the lightest one and had such grey undertones that I thought I was not going to like it at all. I prefer something more neutral, just because grey bronzes look really muddy on me. I keep saying this in every video, but you know, just to let you know, there is a one that's even cooler than this. Even though this is not warm by any means, I would not want to contour with a warm shade, because orange warm tones, they are not going to create a real shadow underneath your cheekbone. But equally, I don't like very grey bronzes because they just end up looking muddy and streaky on my face. I prefer something neutral. I think for my skin tone, for my yellow skin complexion, neutral undertone bronzes look most natural, and they create the shadow and the illusion of my face being slimmer and more defined the best. So that's why I decided to go for number 3. Also, number 1 was, I think, too light for me. I mean, Catrice is known for gravitating towards very light products for light skin tones. They are known for not really having many products catered towards deeper skin tones, which I hope they will expand the range. So now I'm going to open this. So the palette looks like this when you open this. The bronzer looks matte and the highlighter looks shimmery, which is usually the case. But now let's swatch them. So I'm going to swatch this bronzer on this finger and the highlighter on this finger. And let's see. Okay, so the bronzer, that's what I thought, because I swatched it in store before, and I thought even though this was in the shade number 30, it seemed quite light, and I still think it seems pretty light. Like swatched on my finger, I don't know if you guys can tell, compared to other bronzers that I have and other sculpting powders. This seems to be pretty light, but it's definitely more on the neutral undertone. And then the highlighter looks shimmery, but it doesn't look blinding. Let's swatch them on my hand. So the highlighter has a pretty champagne undertone, and the bronzer has a pretty neutral undertone. So, and the highlighter is quite shimmery and reflective, but it doesn't look like it's going to give you a wet look. And the bronzer is definitely lighter than I would imagine number 3 of anything of a bronzer would look like. But as I said, Catrice always caters towards lighter skin tones. So what I'm going to do is firstly use this bronzer to contour my cheekbones, and for that I like to use very small and precise brush, but also a very fluffy one. So I'm going to use this one. I think I used this brush before in a how I contour and highlight video once or twice. I just really like it. It's one of my favorite brushes just because it's very precise, but it's fluffy, so it's going to blend easily. However, when you look at it like that, you can see that it has a it's really quite defined, and it can really get nicely underneath the cheekbone. You get a little kick up with this product, but it's nothing major. What I'm going to do is do this shape, so then I can see my bone easier. Can you see? Can see a little line where your cheekbone naturally is. Now I'm going to go where that line is, so I'm going to just apply this. Get my hair out of the way. I carry on dipping into this bronzer and building the product up, because I dip in ever so slightly each time to be able to build up this bronzer to my desired color. I don't want to apply too much of this at once, because then it's going to be hard to blend. But just to let you know, I keep dipping into this bronzer and going over. Okay guys, so contouring is done. This is not normally this dark. I layered this quite a few times for the purpose of this video. I wanted to do more of an intense nighttime contouring with this to see how this layers, because at the start it's fairly natural, perfect for everyday wear, which is great because this product actually blends out very easily, very nicely. But you can definitely just apply a layer of this and have a very slight, minimal contouring for like everyday wear, for school or college or uni or work, if you don't want to overdo your makeup. At least on my skin tone, I really like it. However, when it comes to the undertone, I can see why some people could potentially not like this, just because it has a lot more red tones than I expected. This is not warm toned, it's not orange, I would say it's neutral. However, it has some red tones that I didn't think this would have. So if you don't like anything red on your face, any bronzers that might have some red tones, then perhaps you wouldn't like this one as much as I do. I don't mind any red tones. I still think this definitely contoured my face, definitely created a shadow, it definitely gave me a structure, and I think this really nicely defined my face. But it's definitely not a cool undertone bronzer. It is a neutral undertone with some reddish tones throughout. But now I'm going to move on to highlighting. So I'm going to use my favorite highlighting brush of all time, which is the Morphe MB23. I love this brush. It's very precise, fluffy brush. I think a lot of the time people use brushes that are slightly bigger. However, I love this one. Not only because it picks up the highlighter so well and makes it look very intense and beautiful, but also because I can decide exactly where I want to put the highlight, and this also blends it very nicely and very easily. So I love this brush. That's exactly the brush that I'm going to use for highlighting today. So what I'm going to do is dip this brush into the highlight, and this actually doesn't have any key cap at all, but I'm just going to tap it still just because I don't want to apply too much highlight at once. And now I'm going to apply it on my face. Okay guys, so basically my mic wasn't plugged for the second half of this video and I already finished it, and I watched the footage back and literally there was no audio, so I have to talk about this product again. So I highlighted my face with this and I was so in love with this highlighter. I mean, looks so stunning, so beautiful on. The undertone of this highlight is warm, but it's not very dark or golden. I honestly think this palette is designed for people with fair skin complexion, because I think this highlight is also quite light. It's pretty light for me. It definitely has a champagne tone to it, a champagne golden yellow tone to this highlight, but it has a white base and then gold tone. Can you see how reflective and beautiful it is? But when I initially applied it, it looked pretty natural and I didn't think much of it. I applied it on my face and I was like, okay, this is a bit too natural for me, nothing special about this highlight. But then I layered it and I fell in love with the shade. Just look at it, so beautiful. It doesn't emphasize any skin texture, any dryness, any pores, any patches. It doesn't really have any glitter, it's just a beautiful champagne sheen to it, just very reflective, and as long as you have a good brush, guarantee you can achieve a wet look with this highlighter. It can look very natural if you wanted to, but then you can layer this and just looks so intense. I am so impressed. I didn't expect to like this contouring palette anywhere near as much as I like this. Usually in these types of videos, one product works for me more than the other one. Sometimes I really love the bronzer but I hate the highlighter. Sometimes I really like the highlighter but I hate the bronzer. With this one, I actually love both of these products. I can see myself traveling with this palette because it's so small and perfect for traveling, and I really like both of these products. But yeah, you guys, this is the end of how I contour and highlight video and my first impression. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, please like it and subscribe to me if you're not already, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!